I've made several low-budget films over the years, but I've never had the opportunity to light my scenes using tube lights until now. Do they live up to the hype, and are they worth adding to your lighting kit as a no-budget filmmaker? We'll answer that and even more in today's video as we go hands-on with the Nanlite PavoTube 6XR and 15C. This is Camp Films. Hey, Ryan here with Camp Films. Thank you for being here. You know, over the years making films and videos, I've had several different lights in my light kit and lights that I would consider my main light, but I've never actually used tube lights in my lighting kit. It's something that I've always wanted to try out, but never had the opportunity until now. The kind folks over at Nanlite reached out and offered to let me try out some of their PavoTube models, specifically the smaller 6XR model and the PavoTube 2 15C. So over the past few weeks, I've been putting them to the test, trying them in a few different scenarios. I'm actually lighting today's talking head shot using the PavoTube 2s. I have one overhead as a rim light, and I'm bouncing one here as my main key. And I also have the smaller 6XR hiding somewhere in the back. There it is. And also in the coming months, I'm going to release a couple more videos, one being a short film that I lit using the PavoTubes, and another video breakdown showing you how I achieved the results that I got. The main question that I really want to answer in this video is, are tube lights actually worth it for indie filmmakers like us? Should we add them to our lighting kits? When I first started learning about tube lights, I was actually pretty skeptical. In my mind, I guess I just always associated them with harsh looking fluorescent lighting. I've always relied on softboxes, lanterns, practicals, and natural light. And I just never really considered them being another option that would actually be beneficial in any sort of way. But once I opened them up and turned them on, I really started to get it. The biggest selling point for me is how lightweight and versatile they are. And the 6XR that's in the background is actually magnetic. And you can snap that thing to any magnetic surface, and it comes with some plates as well, so you can mount it practically anywhere. They're fully RGB, built like tanks, and you can achieve all sorts of colors and effects with these things using the Nanlink app. I have to say that overall, this is a top quality product, and Nanlite has provided everything that you need to get them out of the box and get started lighting your scenes. It comes with these really awesome clips for mounting and these metal threads that you can tie into the ends of the lights and practically hang them anywhere like a lantern. Charging cables and power boxes are provided in the kits. And another main selling feature for me is that they are battery powered, so once you charge them, you can take them outside and not worry about having to run wires to light them up. I really wanted to see what kind of results I could get with these lights and if they were viable for creating films and I could get some really truly cinematic looks using just these lights. So I grabbed the lights, some diffusion, and a few stands, and I took them out into the living room to try a few different setups. And I just moved the lights around and tried different diffusion and different bouncing techniques, and hopefully you're seeing some of the good results of that test right here. For this first setup, I used this back window as my starting point, exposed for the light coming in there. And then I just put a large diffusion off to the right, and I placed both of the larger tubes behind the diffusion to create a softer look, and shot my camera into the shadow side of the subject. Nice little catch light in the eyes, added a final grade, and there's that one, looks pretty good. For this setup, I wanted to do more of a warm, cinematic kind of Roger Deakins tone, and I put a practical lamp in the background, moved my furniture around in the living room to get the angle I wanted, and I actually used the color match feature in the Nanlink app to match the tube lights to the same color as my practical in the background so the light is more believable. Put some negative feel on the right side to give my face a little bit more shadow. I actually left both of the longer PavoTubes behind the diffusion and just slightly moved them up a little bit to get a better angle on my face. And I put a plant in the foreground to give the shot a little bit more depth, which I don't really like the way this plant looks, but oh well, you get the idea. For this shot, I moved my camera around to the front of my couch. I placed a practical over my shoulder in the background, and I wanted to see what kind of looks I could get with overhead lighting using the PavoTubes. So I strapped one of the PavoTubes to my C-stand and put it overhead. You'll notice that when lighting with these tube lights, and just about any light for that matter, the slightest bit of movement can give you a totally different look. So I just moved the light around back and forth just to see what kind of shadows and looks I could get on my face. I tried to place some diffusion between me and the light. I really didn't have the things I needed to rig it properly, so it kept falling down into the shot. But that's something that I would probably do if I were actually trying to capture this for a film. I would try to get some more diffusion between me and that light to get a little bit more of a softer look. And here's one more quick little lighting setup for you, just to show you how versatile these lights can be. If you can fit these lights in a specific area, you can use them to create all sorts of effects and in-camera lighting looks, like putting the 6XR here in the refrigerator to give you a little bit more of a lighting boost. When you open the fridge, you can actually see the light casting onto your face. The actual light inside the fridge isn't quite powerful enough to pull off a believable look, so lights like this can really come in handy for situations like this. And you can use this same philosophy for like lighting the interiors of cars at night. You could use it to simulate the dash lights, things like that. All sorts of different ideas and things you could come up with using these lights. Of course, I was using the larger 15C as my key light in most of these shots. I just bounced it off of my larger bounce, dialed in a warm tone, and was able to get that beautiful, buttery, cinematic look. The smaller 6XR really comes in handy as using it as like a practical within your scene, or you can use it to splash a bit of color on your background, or you can use it for things like effects like TV glow or firelight, candlelight, you name it. But both models of these lights can also create all those different effects as well. The best part is I didn't need to run any cables to get any of these shots. It was a lot easier to get the lights closer to my subject when I needed to and keep them out of the frame. And I really love how lightweight they are. I can't stress that enough. It's so easy to move them around, change them up if you need to, without having to worry about big, bulky lights. I have a very strong suspicion that these lights are going to replace my main lights that I've been using for so many years, even here in the studio. It's just so much easier to work with them when they're not weighing down your C-stands and you're having to use sandbags to get them overhead, things like that. And the light output is great also, so you don't need to worry about them not being bright enough. Some of my other lights are so heavy and bulky that when I try to run them overhead like this and use them as a rim light, they actually bend my C-stands a little bit. And I'm using some pretty high quality C-stands. Here's some of the things that really stood out to me as a filmmaker. The color control on these lights is absolutely fantastic. You can dial in pretty much any color, temperature, or hue you could possibly think of. Of course, the built-in effects are always going to come in handy for various different reasons. Firelight, police car lights, faulty light bulbs, lightning, you name it. You have all of these effects available to you at the touch of a button. They're battery operated and rechargeable. Just charge them up, set them up, and you're good to go. No cables needed. The DMX control within the app is great for things like music videos. I've seen so many people use these as practicals within the shot of their music videos and have the lights color coordinated and the movement moving to the beat of the music. You can control these lights in pretty much any way imaginable for whatever sort of lighting scenario you need to set up and get on set. And my number one feature is just the lightweightness and the ease of use. So easy to set up and get really close to your talent. For me, especially as someone who does a lot of run and gun shooting and solo film work, having a powerful, versatile light that I can set up and take down really quickly between shots is just paramount. So to answer the main question brought up in this video, do I think that the Nanlite Pavo tubes are worth it? For me, honestly, yes. I think these lights have actually earned a permanent place in my lighting kit and are probably going to replace some of the standard lights that I've been using over the past few years. These are a great tool for creative, fast-paced setups. And I think these would be a wise investment for any no-budget filmmaker who's looking to improve their lighting quality on set. They say that time is money, and I can already tell that these lights are going to save me a ton of time when I'm trying to move lights around and figure out the best lighting setup for my shots. So yes, I think they are worth the investment. Let's say a big thank you to Nanlite for sending these lights over for me to check out. Much appreciated. And like I said, over the next couple of months, I'm going to have a couple more videos demonstrating the power of the Pavo tube, so stay tuned for that. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please be sure to like and subscribe if you're not already, and click the bell notification so you don't miss my new videos. Big thanks to our channel members who support this channel on a monthly basis. If you're interested in becoming a channel member and getting all those perks, just click the join button on the channel header to find out more. Thank you so much for coming along on this filmmaking journey with me. I am Ryan, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.